Hello guys, I am Aurora and these are the 10 songs that made me.
Number 1. A song that impacted you as a child.
Clair de Lune by Debussy, which is a song I was obsessed with as a child. I think I liked it so much as a child because I guess for children, classical music is not complex. It's just beautiful and it's pure emotion. And I remember just finding a sense of calmness in classical music that I couldn't find anywhere else in the world. And I remember why I fell in love with it. I think it was the lack of music in the beginning of the song, because often classical music is very filled with these quick notes and dramatic noises, and I guess at times classical music can be quite intense, right? And with this song, Clair de Lune, it just begins with a few notes and then there's silence and you can only hear like the reverb after the piano. And to me that was very magical when I was a child. The silence that came after the music, and I just really enjoyed it. It felt like the sound of time standing still. And that's what I love, absolutely love about this song. I rarely listen to music now, but if I do, Clair de Lune is definitely one of the songs I would put on. I don't know what it is about it. It is just magical. It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. That was Clair de Lune by Debussy. I hope you enjoyed it.
Number 2. The first song that made you want to be a musician.
The next song is the very song that inspired me to do music myself. It is Suzanne by Leonard Cohen. May he rest in peace. I find this song so incredibly beautiful and I love the story it tells. And I think exactly that's the point that made me fall in love with this song and made me feel inspired by this song. It tells a story and it taught me that I could use music to tell stories as well as provoke emotions, I guess. And it really put the first seed in me where I really felt like I would label myself as a storyteller as well as an artist and a musician. The way Mr. Cohen writes about both the small things and the big things are really inspiring to me. And I love that he writes personal, but also just in the eyes of the observer, which I also like to do. I rarely write personal, so I enjoy very much the fact that you can write about so much and you can write about the people you see and the world around you. And I think that's very beautiful to kind of capture that, something you're just watching, and to capture that within a song. It's very beautiful. I think I remember the first time I fell in love with this song. I was around 8 years old and it was raining and it was really cold outside and I was walking home from school and I was really wet when I finally reached our home. And my mother was making something that smelled sweet. It might have been a pie, like a blueberry pie or something. And Suzanne by Leonard Cohen was on. And I remember understanding that what the essence of a home was. And I understood that I think this must be pure, the purest feeling of feeling safe and warm. Even though I was cold and wet, I just felt so safe and warm. And I will never forget how that song together in that moment with the smells and everything, how it made me feel. And it's just gorgeous. And of course, as I grew older, I understood what a beautiful message it carries. So to me, it's just the most magical song ever.
And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Now Suzanne takes your hand and she leads you.
And that masterpiece was Suzanne by Leonard Cohen.
Number 3. The first song that you remember discovering on your own.
The next song is the first song I discovered for myself. It is a song called Grizzly Man by a band called Rocket to the Sky, which is a fairly unknown band. I think they are Norwegian, but I don't know yet. They might be from the moon also, for whatever I know. They are very mysterious, and there is something extremely magical about them. As a child, we didn't have radio at home, and we didn't have a TV that could, like MTV, that could show us new music. So to discover something new was quite a special thing for me, because for half my life I have only heard the same 3 records being played over and over. But this song, I think I heard it playing, I was dancing somewhere. Yes, I was rehearsing, because when I was younger I used to go dancing, like taking dance classes, and I was walking past another dance class in another room, and inside that room they were dancing to this very song, Grizzly Man. And I remember just kind of standing outside and listening to it, and it was just magical. It sounded like the feeling you get when you take a walk alone in the forest. And I think that's why I loved it so much, because it sounds like wandering and looking around you and being just amazed with the beauty that exists around you. And it was completely new, something I've never heard about before. It was not Cohen or Enya or Bob Dylan, which were the 3 artists I ever knew about before. And I was just mesmerized. And it was the very first song I discovered myself, but somehow I feel like this song kind of found me. And then I had this one song that was just mine. And that was Grizzly Man by Rocket to the Sky.
Number 4. Song that got you through your teen angst.
A Real Hero by a band called College. If I think about it, I feel like I never was a teenager. I was just a baby, and then suddenly I was a woman one day. But as a teenager, I was very much living in my own little cloud. And I feel like I was sitting on that cloud, just looking at the other people and kind of observing them. And I think that's what this song feels like to me. Just sitting quietly and watching people and being kind of touched by just looking at them, because you know that they all have their own stories and their own struggles. And it's just so beautiful to look at them, and they're just normal human beings, but they're also heroes. But I remember listening to this song and falling in love with their phrasing in the chorus, which is a real hero and a real human being. And I just liked hearing those 2 words in one sentence, a hero and a human being. And I remember thinking that it made sense, because most humans are real heroes. especially, because being a human is such a hard thing to do. And I remember thinking a lot about this because I was, of course, observing the people around me and seeing how much emotions and how much doubt the people around me were going through. And I don't know what it is with this song that just hit me in the right spot, hit me where I was soft, but it just floats. It sounds like a car. It sounds like you become a car and you can just drive slowly into the sunset. And I really like that.
And a real hero, real human being. And a real hero, real human being. And a real hero, real human being. And a real
That was A Real Hero by College.
Number 5. Song that you listened to the most when you first started driving a car.
Next song is a song that I love listening to when I'm in a car, and that is Born Slippy by Underworld. And strangely enough, even though I was so in love with classical music and artists like Leonard Cohen, in my late teenage years, I really fell in love with Underworld, which is kind of a techno underground band from England, and they're just fantastic. They're just fantastic. And this very song has so much attitude and confusement. It's very absurd and very strange, but somehow it still makes sense. And I find it very poetically, even though I fear that there might not be that much depth in it. But still, I find it to be a bit deep. And I can't drive, of course, for the safety of all the people around me. I will never ever learn how to drive and ever sit behind the steering wheel. But when I sit as a passenger in a car, I love listening to Born Slippy. When I think about sitting in this car and listening to this perfect song, in my wildest fantasy, in my perfect world, obviously, I'm sitting in the passenger seat and there is no driver in the car. It's just kind of magically driving itself, because being alone in the car must be the best thing in the world, I guess. And I'm driving in the desert towards the sunset, so it almost looks like if I drive far enough, I might just drive into the very sun. And it's raining, which is a miracle in the desert. And it's raining and the car has no hat or no roof. And the rain is just going into the car and filling up. But not in a bad way, in a good way. So your feet are a little cold and you're just driving. I don't know what it is about it. I guess it sounds like freedom. And sometimes sitting in a car feels like freedom. That was Born Slippy by Underworld.
Number 6. Song you want played at your wedding.
Next song up is the song I would want to be played at my wedding. It's a song called Lavender and Heaven by Iris. Iris is actually a woman from Norway. She's one of my very good friends, and it's just a coincidence, I guess, that she's very talented. And this song, to me, sounds like the perfect promise of love. It sounds like the perfect promise of unconditional love, of helping each other through whatever hard times we know we will experience throughout our life. And that's just what I want to think about whenever I make a promise to someone. A promise of love is to be there, whatever happens. And this song is just the perfect love promise. I think that's my point. And it's very sweet. There is definitely something about the words that she says in this song. They are very delicate and soft, but still very heavy and thoughtful. There's a lot of energy behind them, which I love. And also the melody is perfect. It's a very classical, romantic melody. And it sounds like love. And it's also kind of like a love song to yourself. The things you wish you could tell yourself when you are just too tired or too weak to ever come up with the right words. So if I ever marry myself, I would also like this song to be played. Because it's also like the perfect love promise to me, to myself. This song is definitely perfect for like the last dance at 4 a.m., 6 a.m., when we're both very drunk and just doing like the last and very emotional, beautiful, but also maybe kind of ugly dance to celebrate our undying love.
Just around the corner between lavender and heaven, I'll be there, singing the song I know you'll never hear until you're here, singing the song until you're out of tears.
And that was Lavender in Heaven by the beautiful Iris.
Number 7. A song you love that might surprise people.
The next song is a song I absolutely adore, but that may surprise you. And I have chosen Mouth of Kala, a song by a French heavy metal band called Gojira. And Gojira is actually one of my favorite bands in this whole world. I absolutely adore heavy metal music, which may surprise many people and may not surprise other people, because even in my music, I have a lot of those really heavy elements and those really powerful and big elements. And I think that's what inspires me. And also that's what I love about heavy metal music. It's just like a whole wall of music coming towards you. It's like a nature force, like a tsunami, or like the deepest deep in the ocean. And I just love it, that it just swallows you whole and chews you up. It eats you and then spits you out again. And then you sit there covered in saliva and you think, what the hell happened? But it's kind of lovely. And I like experiencing that at least once a week, spiritually, metaphorically, not actually experiencing it, of course. But I love this song. It's beautiful. It's very dark. It's full of those really dark undertones, and it's very powerful. It sounds like war is about to come and you have to prepare yourself. It sounds like the orcs in Lord of the Rings, which is awesome. And I guess it might surprise many people, because I don't look that dangerous. Maybe it's because I'm like a centimeter tall. But yes, I look very not dangerous. And this song is very dangerous and it's very nice. But again, that may also be the Norwegian in me, because all Norwegian people, we like heavy metal. It's a part of our blood.
Nothing we can lie. Always come belong to the past. You should learn by the time. Everything changing over and over. We're all falling so fast. Keep on running.
And that was Mouth of Kala by Gojira.
Number 8. A song that you wish you had written.
The next song is the song I wish I would have written. And it's the main theme of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think that piece of music is just the most beautiful thing to ever touch my mind and my soul. And I guess maybe it's also because I absolutely adore The Lord of the Rings. I think I love the books and I love the movies and I love Gandalf. If I was maybe a bit older and a man and gay, I could marry him. But sadly, I am a younger woman, which breaks my heart every day when I wake up and realize I could never be Gandalf's lover. But yes, I absolutely adore this song. It's beautiful. And it just sounds like fantasy, you know? And I have such a deep need within my soul to feel like I'm in a fairy tale. At least like once a month, or once a day, or something in between. I feel the need to feel like I'm in a fantasy world where anything can happen. And this song just brings me right into the magic of the world and life. And it also sounds so innocent. And it also sounds like a song that knows that you've been through a lot and finally you've come here, and it's trying to tell you that it's proud of you for staying strong, like Frodo and Sam did in Lord of the Rings. I love that it's so simple, and it sounds like it's a song that had existed longer than mankind. It sounds like one of those songs and melodies who have just been with us forever, since time began. And I love that ancient feeling in music. But yes, I just love it, and I am always incredibly moved when I listen to it. And I'm still very sad that I was not the person who wrote it. And that was the main theme from the soundtrack of Lord of the Rings.
Number 9. A song that equals joy.
The next song is a song that equals joy for me, and it's a song called Galvanized by the Chemical Brothers. I love this song because there is something in the song that just tickles the right spot in my brain. And I react to music very emotionally, but often also very physically. And some pieces of music resonates with my mind and my body in an extremely physical way. And I can actually feel pure joy in my body, almost like I'm on a roller coaster. And it's very interesting. And it's not often songs do that to me, but when they do, it's just the most wonderful thing in the world. And this song just tickles a part of my head that many other songs don't. It tickles me in a place other songs can't reach, and I really like that. And also, I like the frequencies of it. I like the way it sounds like you just accomplished something you've been scared to do for a while, and then you did it, and you realized there is no reason to be scared at all. And you walked very confidently out of the bank you just robbed. And I like the fact that this song it is a perfect soundtrack to something really badass. But yes, this song is just pure happiness.
The time has come to
And that was Galvanize by the Chemical Brothers.
Number 10. A song you think is totally underrated.
Next song up is a song I think is totally underrated. And it's a song called Why Would I Let You Go by a wonderful man called Sondre Lerche. Sondre Lerche, or Sondre Lerche, as you would say it in my language, Norwegian, is a Norwegian person, just like me. And he's very talented. And this song is a song he released last year, I think, on his last album. And it's just gorgeous. It begins very humbly. It begins very small with just him and the guitar. And he's kind of just resonating about things in life and thinking about whatever went wrong and whatever split he and the person he writes about apart from each other. And then the song builds up so slowly, but when the chorus hits, it sounds like a sunset or a sunrise, and it sounds like when a raindrop falls on your lip, or when you kiss someone. It feels like the first time babies laugh in their whole life. It just creates so many emotions and images in my mind, and I just find it really magical. But you have to be patient. It's a very long song, but if you manage to wait until the second chorus, it will take you on a beautiful journey. And I think that's why maybe it is underrated, because the world rarely has time to wait for the second chorus of a long song. And that's completely fine, you know, we all gotta do what we gotta do. But it's a beautiful surprise and a beautiful reward for whoever manages to wait until the second chorus. I recommend it. It's beautiful. And that was Why Would I Let You Go by Sondre Lerche. Those were the 10 songs that made me, and now here are some songs that I have made. And the first song I want to show you is the song I am most proud to have written. Of course, first of all, I want to say to you all that you can never ask a mother to choose between her children, and obviously I love all my children just the same. But I am very proud of a song I have that is called Murder Song, which is of course quite a sad and horrible title. But to me, it is not only a sad story, it is quite a complex story. And if you listen to it many times, over and over, you might understand what is really happening here, because there is more to the story than what it seems at first listen. And I think that's what I love, when you manage to tell a story that you know is complex and people might notice new things the more they listen to it. And I was quite young when I wrote it. I think I was 16, but I am very proud of it for some reason, because it still resonates with me today, and I still understand it and discover new things about it today. Was Murder Song by me, Aurora, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next song up is a song called Gentle Earthquakes by me still. And I don't know if it's a weird backstory, but it is a backstory at least. Gentle Earthquakes in the title was originally inspired by an orgasm. And I think orgasms are just the most beautiful thing to ever exist in this world. And it should be filled with just love and joy, because it's a beautiful gift that has been given to mankind. And I was thinking about something that was just so big and powerful that it created a gentle earthquake. And so originally that song was inspired by sex. And it was very beautiful. It was a beautiful song. But then I changed it, because I don't often change my mind with songs. Especially when I write about things that are so wonderful as sex. But then I changed my mind and I started writing about an entirely different thing. And it became a song that had to do with female empowerment. And when a woman decides to leave a toxic place or a toxic man in her life, or of course a toxic woman, but it's kind of about this empowering song. It became a really empowering thing. And of course sex can also be a beautiful and empowering thing. But now the song is A Gentle Earthquake is about when you make a decision for yourself in life that is very hard to make, but you do it anyway, and you stay strong and brave, and you change things for yourself for the better. And I just imagined that when you made this big decision, it made such a great impact that around you, you created like a tiny little earthquake.
If the fire flies, my body will be the truth, and the light will guide her. Distant body parts, moving synchronous, watching lightning strike in my daughter's eyes. All the flowers grow to a luscious beam, all connecting us becomes a human dream.
And that was Gentle Earthquakes by Aurora. Me. Thank you so much for listening to the 10 songs that made me. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to 10 Songs That Made Me, only on Spotify.
10 Songs That Made Me is a Spotify original series produced in partnership with Spoke Media. This episode was produced and edited by Kristen Bennett with help from Carson McCain Gray, Caroline Hamilton, and Sharita Lynn Solis. This episode was mixed by Alexander Mark. Sound design and original theme composed by Evan Arnett. Our executive producers for Spoke Media are Aaliyah Tabakolian, Keith Reynolds, and Janielle Kastner. Our executive producers for Spotify are Liz Gately, Gina Delvac, and Yassi Salik. Special shout-outs to Angie Romero, Felipe Guillermino, Jifa Yador, David McDonough, and Sam Walters.